Yeah, we're
Hello and welcome to another Fat Jockey podcast with Kev and myself. Paul can't make it today, unfortunately. He's given us a couple of pointers that we'll touch on later. But yeah, we've got the return of Kev. How are you doing?
very well, mate. Yeah, absolutely buzzing for everything Cheltenham after last weekend. Seems like
Good
a
to
long
hear.
time
Good to
ago.
hear.
Today's been nuts as well.
Oh, yeah. We'll touch on the carnage and the fallout from today. Got to obviously touch on the Clarence House Chase because it was a race that lived up to the hype. Very few times they do. What did you take out of it? Do you think Shishkin is unbeatable at Cheltenham, or do you think Energumene can reverse the form?
No, I don't think Shishkin is on. I think before the race, I would probably have been one. Well, I was one of the people that wasn't really calling it a match. I thought Shishkin. I didn't think an Ergamine would justify it being this big clash that it was built up to be. And I was absolutely wrong. Energumene was fantastic. Definitely a bigger fan of him coming out of the race than I was going into it. But with that said, I think the majority of people think that there was Shishkin had things not go for him, and Cheltenham was probably more likely with the left-handed. The fact that he's been there for, the fact that they know how to ride him now. I think more favour, so I'd have him the right favourite. I think anyone that's ruling an Ergamine run is bolder than I would be. I think there's the only people are saying he made a mistake and he's still beating him. Well, there's a reason he's made that mistake. And what if a mistake? There's nothing stopping it. Just because he's made a mistake this time doesn't mean he wouldn't again. To be one length in it, to be absolutely sure that one will definitely beat the other wouldn't be me. But I absolutely understand why Shishkin is his favourite, and it was. I just hope they both get there and it's close again because it was just absolutely lit a fire. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. I agree. I think there seems to be this assumption that Shishkin will go round error free at Cheltenham. Um, what I would
Mm.
say, I think, like you say, he's absolutely the right favourite. He's of course got probably a better chance in theory. Back at a track that he's proven on, left-handed, etc., etc. I think I didn't really realise at the time when I watched it back a couple of times. He's probably won it a little bit easier than I thought. Just when you look, I think he was probably worth a bit more than that length in the end. But there's no doubt. I think Energumene gets him out of his comfort zone, and that's why I'd be wary about just saying Shishkin is an absolute good thing. Because, like you say, I think he could. There's no reason to think that Energumene can't get him in trouble again. Um, and he produces either more mistakes or a bigger mistake that does cost him the race. I think anyone I think Paul basically said, I'm sure we won't mind us saying this, he texts us after saying he's bomb proof. I wouldn't go that far. Sounds like you're similar, but
No,
I just want the
no. I
rematch
mean,
now. It was just
who?
such a good race.
Yeah, I think he was saying that beforehand, and after he's done that, you can still as confident as he was. I've got a question for you on that then. So at the moment, the best ranking to win the Queen Mother's 5 to 6, and 4 to 6, and you can get an Erg in the Queen Mother without Shishkin still at 5 to 6. So if you had to have a bet out of those two, what?
So the only slight hesitation. So that was the bet that was 5-4, wasn't it? And I know you had some, and I was actually debating it, and then they changed the price. I mean, 5 to when his odds against without Shishkin was. I remember saying to you, it's just just seemed mad. My only hesitation is if they change something. I mean, there's only a length in it, but several times connections have come out and said, well, it's only a length, but you need to do something different. I think I mentioned on the forum, and you touched about it being possibly similar to Min that time in the Champion Chase, where they switched things up with him. Maybe they went a bit too extreme then, and it's slightly different where, I mean, Altior had the beating of Min quite comprehensively, once over hurdles at the Supreme, but also, was it 7 lengths? Was that? I'm sure he'd beaten him in a Champion Chase before, but it was quite it's very unlikely Min would ever beat Altior by then, I think. I think that's not the case with Energumene, but if they were to go maybe a bit harder in front, I mean, at the time, I thought that was probably unlikely, given how Paul and Nico both came out of the race and kind of said they were going flat out. The times maybe don't. I mean, I'm not a times person, but the times and sectionals don't seem to really say they went a ridiculous pace. But I think they went a constant fast pace. There was no let up. So I don't know whether, I think the problem you've got is if an Energumene goes a bit harder, maybe he's got less at the end of the race. It is a tough one if you were to compare those bets. I would probably go with Shishkin, just because I think, for me, my view would be he's proven at the track, it's left-handed, and he's just going to run his race. And yeah, Energumene, I don't know if they'll try something different, but both look very, very hard to not come in truth.
Yeah, I think
what would you go for?
For me, there's a bigger gap between. I think there was between Altior and Min than I think there is between Shishkin and Energumene.
Yeah.
So wouldn't love to start saying whether I think Energumene's going to be better than Min or will ever get to that level, or if he's already. I think Shishkin is closer to Energumene. So whatever level they're at, they're just better matched. So I wouldn't be as worried, and I just don't like anything in behind. I think. Although I suppose I would have said the same when it was out in, so I don't know. I mean, I have taken I'd probably take the 5 to 6 on Energumene without Shishkin, I think, but not a lot in it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the gap. Yeah, I guess thinking about the gap between Shishkin and Energumene is that, and then the gap from Energumene to the others is wider, I'd say. So. Yeah.
I mean, what have you got? Yeah. Is third favourite still? Was third favourite, and he's been pushed out to 12s today.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Even if Shakan comes back in the Dublin Racing Festival, I wouldn't touch him, and I was still willing to give him a chance. But no, it's 2 horses. We just want to see the rematch. Forget everyone else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's class though, wasn't it? Absolutely class.
So on to today. The bombshell of Ferny Hollow, although slightly saw it coming. A lot of people based on the exchanges. Where do you see the Arkle now? What's your how are you going to play the race?
Well, we should probably start with that podcast we did. 1 hour talking about just Ferny Hollow. That seems like a bit of time now.
I think he was close to even money favourite, wasn't he? He was absolute value. You can't use the outcome to
look at the. No, absolutely not. So I mean it's blown wide open. As I think for me, I was waiting for the Dublin Racing Festival, because I'm pretty sure Houghton Colour or Blue Lord would have run as well. I know some people diss that and are quite confident that Willie only runs one in the Arkle, but for me that's a sort of trend that's just going to change over time. It just keeps getting more and more horses, and it's just going to change, because you could go back 10 years and the horse is nowhere near as good as he's had in this last 5, or maybe the years. Like you look back and he's just growing and growing, still becoming more and more dominant. And I think just to have one in a race is not something that I'd hang my hat on. I certainly wouldn't have not been the others before it. So I would have been looking at that for that race, and I think one that I'll have to look at is Saint Sam, who I don't really like, to be honest. It's not been on my radar yet. I've read today, someone put on the forum, Willie had quoted saying that he was going to stay at 2 miles, so I'll have another look at him. But I think Blue Lord enough to show to sort of book his place for me, and I'm just sort of hoping. I was hoping Houghton looked really good as well. Well, he did look quite good on debut. I was impressed with him, actually. And I think whichever one of them, I think they'll probably clash, and I think whoever wins that is a cool favourite. It's a little bit like the year what was the year he had something, and we all got giddy about Silos Emery, and then he was out, and then shattered his debut but didn't run, and Geneva ended up winning. So it sounds boring, but Willie Mullins is the starting point for me in the race. He's got the favourite now. He's got the one that I'm most interested in Houghton Calais. I'll have another Saint Sam. I'll have another look at Jungle Boogie, although I think he's more to be up in trip. And the non-run no bet price is horrible for Saint Sam 8-1. So I'll wait until the declarations. The one that I suppose was while it was all happening. So I'd done my business with Ferny already, so I was looking at, can I take some prices now just before, and then they all just collapsed really. I was looking at back in third time lucky again, backed him earlier in the season, and then the main one I was looking at was Riviere, just because of that run up against Ferny Hollow where she just did herself no all. I'd have had Ferny Hollow favourite rightly so to maintain the form with her, but she still ran well. No, she wouldn't get the weight she would have got. I think people just assume that's a massive, but in theory she gets that because she should still be improving, and I think she's actually quite a late fall or early fall, whichever way around it works, so it probably wouldn't have been in her favour from memory. But still, I think that if you're talking about what horses have actually shown so far, that's probably up there. It's certainly as good as we've seen so far until we see that Dublin Racing Festival race happen. There's nothing that sort of jumped out at me. I suppose it's because I'd already have some prices. I suppose Woodstone, I think, is a massive player now. I was annoyed I missed the price on him, to be honest. And 3-1 is, he might just get a little bit forgotten about now. Although he's going to run again, isn't he? So maybe he's not. Well, I suppose he's 3-1 joint favourite, so he's not forgotten about, is he? But I think he's been better than he's getting.
I'm not sure if he is.
I suppose you.
I'm not sure if he is going to run again. There might be another, because the Doncaster this weekend is where third time lucky against Full Pleasure and someone else do your job, and he was mentioned for that race, and he's not shown up. I'm guessing now they go straight to the festival, but I don't know. There might be another race that can get in there. I mean, my view is, we've gone from Appreciated then to Ferny. It looks a bit of I think it's an open race now. I was kind of like a lot of people seeing everything kind of going on the exchange, my first thought was, because I've left Blue Lord for now. My first thought was kind of get him while a few of the bookmakers hadn't updated. But to me, I don't see a massive gulf between Blue Lord and the other Mullins runners. Holton Kalur, maybe Saint Sam, Jungle Boogie. I would have Blue Lord favourite, and I think hands down, Paul Townend will ride him. Obviously, depending what happens in Leopardstown in a week's time. But would you go mad at the prices now? I mean, 11-4, 3-1, and then look. But then, like you say, Mullins is the kind of the man you want to go to in this race. So as much as Edward Stones look good, I'm always kind of going to think even Mullins is kind of second and third strings that have now been elevated to the head of the market. I still would be siding with them. So for me, I'm just going to kind of take a step back now. Pretty much all my eggs were in either Appreciate It or Ferny Hollow basket. I have got third time lucky backed. And actually, what I was planning to do was hope that he could win at the weekend and then cash out for my full stake back. I'd literally written him off, but I guess now, I mean, there's no point getting rid of him unless he flops massively. But I think you have to have him as a player if you've got him backed. But yes, probably a disappointing race.
Do you like
we're not probably
tell them?
I think, like you said, she's got that form with Ferny Hollow. There was only, just over 11th between them. Granted, the weight difference. I don't know if the plan is to run her at Dublin Racing Festival. She is entered. I would quite like if she just went fresh. I mean, she had 4 runs already. I know she had a break, but if she runs next weekend, she'll be going into the Arkle on her 6th chase that season. And that seems quite a lot for me. I just wonder whether she'll kind of be feeling the effects of that many runs, but I would assume they go for it because it's kind of there for the taking, isn't it? Now, I think Elliot would be pretty bullish, but probably all depends on.
What lost you then, my friend?
It all depends on next weekend now, doesn't it? I think it'd be. I think unless you could react in time today, I know you did a bit. I think now that the dust is settled, the market's updated, I don't personally see a need to do anything. See how next weekend plays out, and even actually take it close to the day. I think it'll be quite open. I think even if Blue Lord was to, I don't think it will smash the race up at the next weekend.
No, that's what I was going to ask. I think maybe the old to win today, and that might be an angle for getting something. Because a lot of position is as you, where they had Appreciate It, and then they had Ferny Hollow. Hard to sort of start afresh, isn't it, with races like that? I know I've got a few races this year where it is hard, and I think you're right. Just don't do anything for a bit.
Yeah.
Because there's, I mean, the market might not look that different on the day, 3-1 the field. I suppose if Blue Lord wins at the Dublin Racing Festival, then he probably just goes short price favourite. Although maybe not that false, but he just sort of slots into the gap where Ferny, and it depends how sort of far ahead you thought Ferny Hollow would be. I know some people prefer Blue Lord, don't they? So we'll see. We'll talk about that more next week, though, can't we?
Yeah. And so then on to the bombshell of Ferny Hollow to Classical Dream getting turned over. Odds on today. I didn't see it coming. What did you? 1-3 he was beaten. Are you panicking? I know we're all fans of him.
Yes, I suppose. Yeah, I think like I wasn't on Classical Dream until he ran night before he ran, and I managed to get loads on, and he became my biggest winner, and I was absolutely. And now I can't be anything but worried. I need to hear that he's coming okay. I think I'm not massively upset that he didn't get asked to do anything. He sort of he's travelled perfectly well and then just not kicked on. But then he wasn't asked to do anything. Like I'm okay with that, knowing that today wouldn't be the day. There would have been no point Paul Townend letting Royal Kahala come past him and then do everything to finish third. But it's also not a positive. That's not a positive. It's just not it. And I don't think there was anything. There were no positives to come from today. It was just the most negative thing in the world. If I was starting fresh today, would I back in one non-runner no bet? I probably would. If I was starting now, I'd probably think if they'll have him right and he wouldn't turn up. I mean, I'm not in that position, so I've got to hope he is okay. It was just disappointing. There were no positives, but it wasn't sort of the biggest kick in the face. Not the biggest kicking I've had. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just going to write it off. Like I said, no, you can't ignore it as such. Yeah, I mean, everything was in his favour. Yes, he had to give weight, but he was kind of £20 rated above a lot of these. I mean, if you take Ashdale Bob, who finished just under 2 lengths in front of him, he was rated 146 after his hurdles season last year, home by the Lee. And yeah, Ashdale Bob was only getting £2 as well. Now, you could say Classical Dream is slightly overrated, perhaps, and he's not as good as what he showed. But that golf, Ashdale Bob and Classical Dream, for that to get reversed, to me, you have to just go. Yeah, he wasn't right. The worry isn't. I still think he's as good as he's looked. His past two performances before today, I still completely stand by them. The only worry now is, yeah, if something has gone up with him. He's obviously a fragile horse. I was surprised he ran today. I think I said it before. I would have liked to see him go fresh to the festival, and I assumed I just didn't see him running again. I think you just got to hope that they can get him back. I think Patrick Mullins, after the racing today, said maybe just Christmas took it out of him. And yeah, the fact that they were clearly Paul Townend was soft on him when he knew, was it just when they were going to the straight, he knew he was beat and he didn't do much. I'm sure if they really win that race, they might have even picked up third place, maybe. I mean, it's irrelevant, really. But yeah, I would still have the faith that certainly he's a massive player in the race. I mean, he probably would have gone maybe close to evens, I'd say, if he had done a good performance. So, yeah, if you're not on him, I mean, you've got a previous festival winner who's now fourth favourite. To me, there's still question marks about the ones ahead of him. Champ's obviously come in, but he's 10 years old. Flooring Porter is quirky, and Classical Dream has beaten him the last two times they've met, and Time Hill, he has question marks as well. So to me, Classical Dream maybe isn't as, he's not as strong, definitely after today. But if you said, right, you just need to pick one horse out of all of them that you think's the most likely winner, irrelevant of price, I would probably go with him still.
I mean, at the price you can get 6-1 non-runner no bet. I'd probably take at price. That's what I'd do. I think most likely winner. I don't know. I might switch to Flooring Porter if they were all the same, just because with him running below par today, Flooring Porter, a course and distance winner, and just a rope he was given last time. I think if they're all the same, like at the prices I'd have classical. I can see why. I mean, Flooring Porter fans were quite like Scooby. He's quite happy about it. Lobos on the forum is very happy today with that. I think I'd take it as a slight knock on the form. Like I think Champ fans should be very very happy today. That's as good a result as you could hope for. Yeah, I think I don't know. It's a close race. Time Hill, I'm not really interested in. And I mean, I had an XR essay in my diary today, put up or last night, put up the back Royal Kahana no bet for the race, and I followed him in on that, and I was feeling quite smug about that as he won. Ash, sorry, but then just looking at the actual form of the race, I've gone so much that I'd rather she didn't run at all because she's just not going to be with Sayers Hurdle. It's just not happening. So she's not won it authoritatively enough for me to be excited. And again, I wouldn't be that keen on her for the. I found quite a lot, if you remember last year, for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle.
Yeah.
And not probably not let that go. If to be honest, that's probably playing on my mind with her. But again, so I've got her in the Stayers Hurdle now. I see you can get 8 non-running, 8 non-running about or 14s, but that's you wouldn't fancy that, would you?
No, I mean Boyle Sports were quite slow. They were 20s for a while after. Obviously not non-running no bet. I'd had a small bit on that just because I think the trainer said that if it's heavy, they'll go for the mares. If it's soft, they've got a decision. I mean, you never know, but it's barely ever been heavy. I think they probably will line up here, and I couldn't be that strong on her. But her first try of 3 miles, she's in good form this season. It was kind of just about enough to get me back in her. But yeah, like I say, I mean, home by the lead in second, you can't really be raving about it. But I think she's on a kind of upward trend, and for me, the Stayers Hurdle is quite often a race where you back the horse that is on a positive run. And we've seen Flooring Porter last year. He did that from nowhere. You had the likes of obviously Paisley Park when he had the Aintree handicap and then went through the Grade Ones. Sam Spinner didn't do it at the festival, but he again came from nowhere, won the trials.
To put you off Classical Dream, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that kind of knocks his level of progress. Champ would be one that could.
He's on. There's only Champ, yeah.
So you think he should? I mean, we kind of thought out Classical Dream today. He should win. So then he's won kind of the 2 English trials. So yeah, I'm always keen to kind of jump on that horse that is just winning the races. Even
yeah, that's why I know Charlie's probably been the biggest advocate of that. The 7-4 and then 6 Champ without the Irish horses. And I think that's where I've ended up. That got Champ in the book, and it's still, I don't know what price it is right now, probably 5-4. And I just think after he wins this weekend, it'd probably be quite. Yeah. So even though, I mean, I don't think today's really affected that, but that might look like if he does win this weekend, he is the horse that's won the key trials. There's now question marks about classical dream. Beat Flooring Porter, so you could tie them together. Champ would have the beating of Time Hill. You'd think you can see why he could go off. He could maybe go off 6-4, and then I think just having not having the when it's still without the Irish horse, I can see why that's a popular bet, and that's how I've got Champ in the book, and that's how I'd like to do it because I'm still more tentatively than I was leaning towards the Irish horses being better, but we'll see.
Yeah, they've just he was 6-4. They've taken it down obviously after today because I've been nibbling at it. I can't get much on the Sky, but yeah, they've taken that market down now in the stays, which is a shame. Yeah, I agree. That was a nice little way of playing it, actually.
Yeah. There we are, tipping up something that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Everyone get on the price that doesn't exist.
Did you see before I posted on I was bigging myself up on that Richie Bumper horse today, and I just hadn't checked the halved in price to 6-1 before, and I was just tipping something that just wasn't there. What do you think of him, just quickly?
Yeah, it's impressive.
I think Patrick Mullins was. I think obviously you don't want to get too carried away by it, but reading between the lines, I think they'd be. I think the other two from the name Chet, Facile Vega and Redemption Day, I think they're that need to be on. I mean, I'd back them all blanket if I had a day. Any Mullins Bumper horse is worth a look, no matter how big it is. But like I've done every horse he's had that's won that race has run at Cheltenham in the Bumper. My angle with it yesterday, but then just listening, I know the conditions of the race have changed as well. I've found out since. So, and then I think I've read a quote from Willie saying he isn't sure he will go there. So I'll definitely be wary of that now.
Yeah, it's a nice angle actually. I think it's complete. I think Patrick Mullins is a bit more open. But yeah, Willie Mullins came out and said, yeah, he's only 4. I'm not sure that'll go to Cheltenham. But like you said beforehand, Blue Sari, he was 4 and he went, and yeah, that race has been used. I think, yeah, just if you were heavily into American Mike, you'd be very, very worried about Willie Mullins right now because he's just got a battalion. He might not take them all there, but he's got a battalion of horses, good-looking horses that are coming for Mike.
Yeah, I think that's American Mike. I missed American Mike. That was one of during my holiday over the summer. So came back by the morning. He was already way shorter than I'd back a horse in the Bumper, and then just everything then has been Willie. So I don't know whether it's just going to be like is American Mike going to be a bit forgot. I don't know if is he due to run next weekend? Is that the plan?
I don't think it's not set in stone, but I think he's going to bypass it and just go straight there.
He'll have had a long old gap then.
Yeah, I don't think
running scared. I think No, I don't know. I mean, I'll be happy to go. I mean, I've not even got the this Mullins runner either, so I'm in a world of pain. But the Bumper would be my worst race. It's not something I put any time into, so just won't waste anyone's time any more than I already have on that.
Bumper's brilliant now. You back the hype and. Easy done. Yeah, I mean, Elliott, so American Mike is entered, but I think he's more likely not to run. And then Elliott's got 2 horses that will be, they're both currently 14-1. So yeah, it looks all basically I think the Bumper looks like it's going to be American Mike versus however many Willie Mullins wants to throw at. When did
he last? He ran before Christmas, didn't he? And just walloped something.
Yes, he Yeah, 17 lengths. He
Well,
won
hey, won at 1 to
grade.
8. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Won at 1 to 8. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the future champions at Navan.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone, he's one of them that it'd be a classic example of people just forgetting about like recency bias coming in, because Willie's won everything since. Maybe he'll get forgotten about. Hopefully, he drifts to an each way price, and I'll fall in, and he'll come nowhere.
I think there's every
Scumbag
likelihood
each
for
way.
that. Yeah, if he doesn't run, you're going to have, you're almost certainly going to have the Mullins winner next weekend go favourite, I'd say. And
I tell
then,
you
yeah,
what
American
is interesting. Paddy Power have pushed out redemption day to 8 to 1 based on today. Crazy. That 8 to 1. He looked really good.
Yeah, I
mean, that's
really
an each
like
way
him.
price, isn't it? 8 to 1. I think I'm going to back that. Can I get anything on
really
with Paddy
like him.
Power though?
I think between him and Facel Vega, yeah, eight seem a bit.
And yeah, I need. That's big, isn't it? Let's see if I can get on. Because we're moving the price way. Fat Jockey strikes. Oh,
Pink in the Park is the other that she'll run in the mare's bumper, and she could.
I've cashed her today.
Oh, did you? What was
the today? It's
reason?
Spectre's one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because she's 14 to 1. Else, I've got her at 12, so I've cashed her at 12 because she's 14. So I'll just rebound entry if I want to. But yeah, I've gone. I just prefer. I think that 8 to 1's a great price each way, because I don't think watching Mercury and listening afterwards, I think Redemption Day is a bigger price now, and I think he was more impressive, I would say.
Yeah,
I like it. Again, it's in, backed, topped up. So yeah. Anyway, we're not supposed to be talking about the ball, but what are we talking about?
Well, lastly, I'm keeping you on 10 tucks for the best championship race of the entire festival. But very quickly, non-runner no bet came in today. Any big? I think you were quite active. Any big?
That was very
ones that you.
Yes. I think figures worth of Sky have taken off me today to put in their bank, ready to give me back in March. There's just a lot of the first one I saw straight away, because you started the Supreme. I backed State Man again at 25 to 1, and then looked at him in the Ballymore, and then I was disappointed because it'll be his third run next time. So if he doesn't do well, I thought he might have handicaps, but then I stopped backing him in every single race. But I think he would have won that race at Christmas quite easily. He was just coming to win the race on that around the turn. I just think he's just a level above anything else. He's been sort of a player for the Dublin Racing Festival, so I don't know. He's sort of under the radar. Tipped up quite a bit before. Definitely, my internet's having a shocker here. So what's he now? Yeah, I mean, did you back much today?
No, I was just in a huff. I can't really get on with Sky, so I didn't even try and get tempted, because I can get peanuts on with them. So I was quite annoyed that they were the first ones to go non-runner no bet. So I thought I'm just going to bury my head in the sand rather than get annoyed.
Fair enough. I had to reinstate one of my friend's accounts today.
Nice.
Yeah, what if I keep the handicap ones? Nothing really in the Statuaire is one in the Mayor's Novice. Had I'd get her out as if, like at non-runner bet, I would have to back her, which probably leads us in one of the races we're about. Well, going to talk about the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, aren't we? So
Yeah.
just of her like 8-1 non-runner bet is not the best. She's a Grade 1 winner. I like the horses she beat. I think Mighty Potter's done well since, and ties in with. So I just said, I remember writing in my diary at the time, like when there's a non-runner bet, I'll just have to back her at that, which I'd sort of forgotten about, and then read back my thoughts, and I was like, yes, I do need to add her at that, because she might just be, she'll already have had, she's got experience some horses that I like, and she might be up against worse horses than we know. So he's a non-runner, but I think 8-1 is a big price for a sort of a Gen 1 winner, even though it's not the strongest Grade 1. But after the Dublin Racing Festival, that might look absolutely stunning form if Mighty Potter runs well. So I just thought like that, because I don't know if she's fit, but I think if she was, then she surely doesn't off at 8-1. But having said that, there's probably 4 other horses that I will say the same thing about, and they can't all go off sub 8-1, can they?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she's had a bit of money coming for her for the Tattersalls. Yeah, she's 5th favourite now, so maybe it looks like they might be leaning to run her actually. So that'd be interesting. And yeah, like you say, if she goes from that to dropping back down to the Mayor's Novice, that's a serious drop in quality. And there's probably a chance she's a bit of a forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, particularly forgotten, is it? Like, they've not taken a lot of chances at 8, really. Similar to Grangy in that, and they just didn't. She ran well, but was ultimately beat against the boys, and they just didn't push her out enough for me to think. And I think we must have spoken about this on a pod, because I'm getting deja vu talking about it, but just didn't get pushed out to a price where I was like, right, they've overlooked that might be good form. They just left her where she was, and I respect her, but there's just others more exciting. And I think Statuaire I would sort of compare to Grangy, but I think through Mighty Potter, Statuaire is better than her. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at with those. That's why I can leave Grangy, even though I think she's okay, because I have to start ruling some of them out of the in an absolute mess by the time we get to this. Get to the.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, we might as well have a quick look at the Mayor's Novice now. Yeah, you can't back. Yeah, I mean, take away the favourite. You've got you can get 8-1, give or take a point here or there between Dino Blue, Brandy Love, Grangy, Statuaire. That's not even naming the favourites. Yeah, there's no way you can back all 5 of those runners at those prices and get anywhere in the race. I mean, Mullins has had previous.
I'll give it a good.
Where can it be done? I guess. Well,
no, I don't think so. Well, I think a lot of people have Allegory Devassi price. I think that are watching this.
Yeah. Give you
so that gives a little flex, but then, well, go on. Sorry, you talk me through what you think of those that you've mentioned there. Grangy, Brandy, the Mullins 4.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got the 3 of them that are entered this weekend. Brandy Love, Paul Townend's chosen, so she's kind of the assumed number 1, at least for the weekend. You got Allegory Devassi. Sean O'Keefe keeps the ride, which I guess that makes sense. Maybe that played played into the kind of town and choosing Brandy Love as well. And then
does he choose?
Did he choose Brandy Love? Did you say?
Is he told? Does he choose?
I've never thought he's been told, but
he's
and there, Grandji.
No, it does make sense. Now, it'd be hard for him not to be on Brandy Love. She's rated. He was on her before. It just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember who said it now, but it was Paul Townend didn't go off last year. He wasn't on the favourite. I think Yukon Lil got backed into favourite. I think I remember reading it.
Oh yeah. I remember that actually.
Get it up.
What so yeah,
I mean, what am I doing?
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah. I know it wasn't. It was a time before Gulwar was the. That was the Royal Kahala Gulwar, but yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure you are onto something with that one.
Yeah, I mean they all just tie in so much. Don't you? Like, so I backed Brandy Love today, just on the so I've swear and Brandy Love today. So I've sort of picked my 3. I'm not particularly about it because I think Dino Blue was most impressive of the 3. So like I backed Brandy Love today because it's Paul Townend's ride and thinking was our favourite. It's already been clipped a little bit, so should be able to if needed, hopefully. But I think I don't they? Like, so Grandji beat Brandy Love, didn't she, in a bumper last year? And they're all about the same price. So you just, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's one of those situations where because they're all so, it's very hard to be convinced any others at this stage. I don't know how you would. Like, I'm delighted the one I've got the big price on is favourite at the moment, but I don't think justifiably I can say why she's favourite.
No, yeah, they've all ran once, give or take. I think Grandji twice, but yeah, I think there's very little to choose. I think the favourite Allegory Devassi, she was kind of chucked. I really liked her run, but she was chucked in terms of ratings last time with her kind of French form. Dino Blue would be the one I've most been impressed with. For that to be her first ever start, I really like that actually. I'd be interested. I'd kind of hope she would come here the weekend. I don't think she's entered in that mare's handicap at the Dublin Race Festival. So I'd be interested to see where she goes next. Yeah, she was definitely. If I had to choose one, yeah, she's not in that mare's handicap, so I don't know where they're going to run her next. Yeah, you were right. You kind of little a couple of years back was Paul Townend's ride. Danny Mullins chose Cool Reevy. Mark Walsh was on Dolcita, so doesn't always translate. Yeah, Townend picked the third favourite that day. It's.
I think so. I think what I'm hoping is to have backed. So if Allegory Devassi, and I think because like the £5 penalty for Lorena, Limini, Let's Dance have all won with that £5, so that's not a massive problem. I think that's something we should touch on, but that wouldn't concern me if she won. And then I've backed Brandy Love because she's the best horse going into the Sol Arena. Townend's mount, and I think that's the one I'd kick myself if she won, knowing they were all priced the same. The Allegory Devassi, they're all 8-1. So why have I not backed that one? And that's why I've left Grangie, because I think she's already shorter than I hoped she would be. So what I'm hoping is I come out of that race with the winner. If it's Devassi, brilliant, probably get rid of Brandy Love. If it's the other way around, I'll probably leave them both. And is the one I'm most impressed with is Dino Blue, and back her. Wait until after the Solarina to do that, because what I'm hoping is one of them wins and maybe she gets pushed out or something. And obviously, if Statuaire is declared to run as well, that means then I might have sort of odds where I'm sort of getting towards Dutching and ending up near even rather than making any significant money out of the race. So
yeah,
that's where I'm. So it's all a little bit up in the air. I mean, we'll go through it. I know on the pod, will we? We're not going to do one before the Solarina. So, what about you? Have you these yet?
So yeah, I've got Allegory Devassi, Dino Blue in terms of the Mayor's Novice. I mean, yeah, Brandy Love, she went off odds on at the Mayor's Bumper last year. She obviously kind of flopped in third, but there was some serious talk about her. So I think you're right. Maybe now is the time to, if you haven't backed her, I haven't. Maybe you might have to back her before that run, because I would say, well, clearly they're gonna. Granted, anything is obvious to why. If she beats Allegory Devassi, that's straight away that switch. Then in Brandy Love becomes favourite.
Yeah, she's
they flip
strong favourite as well.
So she probably goes fairly short. The market will wait on Dino Blue, and yeah, given probably it's the fact that she was odds on for that Mayor's Bumper. There's a lot of talk about her. Patrick was really sweet on her. I remember before the race, she was turned over by Grangie, but it wasn't expected. So I think if she wins, there's probably kind of going to be no way back on her. The penalty doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like say, Mullins has had three horses that have had the penalty, and one at the festival, and then the other two winners are actually the Solarina were Rosie's Hollow and Manila Melody, and I mean they were smashed. Rosie's Hollow came 7th, 13 lengths back, and Manila Melody 18, 50 lengths back. So the penalty had no effect on those. Obviously, you don't want to carry more weight than the others. Of course, you'd rather be off levels, but in my mind, say it's Brandy Love, if she wins at the weekend, she deserves to be favourite, and I don't think I'll be going, she's got that £5 now. Granted, I mean, if Allegory Devassi was beaten a neck, then you could probably say, well, okay, with that weight swing, there's a chance. But for me, £5 quite often isn't the difference, I actually think.
Yeah, it depends on if Allegory Devassi's closing and only loses by a neck, then you'd be like, yeah, I'm happy to have both on side, but it's not. It wouldn't put me off massively. I mean, are there any other horses at all in this that you're interested in? I know this was tipped up today on Sporting Life.
So I've backed
the only other.
I've backed Party Central, and she runs as well. I was a bit disappointed in her first couple of runs. She looked a lot better last run, and actually travelled really well. And probably the the finishing distance didn't quite do it justice. I think who was in the second that day? She was only
Humble
she only won by a head
glory.
last time, but that was over 2 miles, 3.5. And she, I think, about 2 out. She had a good lead, and she just got it reduced in the running. I think the drop back to 2 should help. The focus is going to be on the Mullins runners this weekend, but I wouldn't completely rule her out. I mean, she ran in that mare's bumper that we're talking about, Brandy Love Gronji. She came second, only beating her neck. I know Jamie Codd was very, very complimentary about her going into the season. I think there might have even been some, obviously, you take them with a pinch of salt. I think there were some quotes saying she was one of the most exciting mares for the season. Obviously, he kind of is talking about his bubble. He doesn't really talk about the Mullins runners too much. But yeah, she's definitely someone that, I mean, you get 25s with William Hill. She's kind of assumed that she's not going to win at the weekend, but she could be one worth chancing. Yeah. So I wouldn't rule her out.
We don't one bookmaker. What if the bookies are watching? What if you are sat watching this when we put it out, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put some sponsorship Fat Jockey's way." You've just snubbed them, just only mentioning Will Hill.
Well,
come on, take with Will Hill. Yeah, I'm open to all guys. Got to pay for these pin badges somehow.
Yeah.
Out of my pocket, that patrons. Out of my pocket. Don't you forget.
Got to get a sponsorship so we can get some nice gold-plated ones. Come on.
I've got myself a gold-plated one now. Not that I've got an ego or anything.
Yeah, King Kev. Yeah, the badge will be that big. Yeah, so Party Central could be one. She's kind of lurking at double figures. There's not too many others. Glens of Antrim would have that kind of second season hurdler.
I hate her. I hate her.
Yeah, I'm not fussed at all. She won when she was massively odds on over Christmas. I don't see. She's similar to was it last year Hookup, where she had the second, and actually I think Hookup for a time.
Hookup was better though.
She had a good run. Yeah, she had a good run behind the boys, wasn't it, in the Dublin Racing Festival, the Grade 1. But yeah, I think Glens of Antrim, especially given how many kind of promising mares Mullins looks to have, I would be shocked if she was a wild price, kind of 33s, 40 to 1. I can maybe see it each way, but I've got no interest. Gypsy Island, the return of the once two-time favourite, I think.
Get your joke.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. Couldn't.
Honestly, that horse must have more. There's more posts about that horse on the forum for us not run than any in his. Even worse than what was the Preem horse that was favourite? Senna Walk, was it, or Animix? Like both, 2 years in a row. Yeah, amazing. Anyway,
the only other one I'm not backed, or I'm not a massive. I don't really have an opinion, but I know you quite like Nurse Susan. I think she got beat last time, didn't she? Would you like her for this race?
Who's that? Who?
Nurse Susan, the Skelton horse.
Oh, yeah, I did like before the last podcast I was on. The meeting got cancelled, and I really liked. That's too far. I liked her, and I was thinking about using her in a roll up actually, and she's been beaten since. So turns out I would have lost, and yeah, absolutely no interest whatsoever now. If you're a British horse in this race, you need to be going in unbeaten to be on my mind. Absolutely, if the horse is British and it's not got a wands by it, then I won't even give it a second thought.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Cool. So yeah, if you have to come down to. If you had to come down to
I think
there's Novice.
A bet non-runner bet I'd go because I think she's got the best form so far. This is going to be weird because I haven't backed the one that I'm at, but I think at those prices now. No, Brandy Love before the Solarina at 8-1. That's what I'd do. I was tempted to say Dino, wait until after the Solarina for that and see how that goes first. But if that now, it would be Brandy Love at 8-1, and I would back that for the Mare's Novice Hurdle before she runs. But I am going to be backing more than one of these, so I wouldn't pin everything on just the one. You're asking, so yeah, Brandy Love 8-1 is the bet.
Nice. Yeah, I'd probably go with. I'd be keen to look at Party Central. I'd be hovering over, maybe see what price she is actually for kind of any. You could probably get any trade price this weekend, and then maybe roll her up if she came anywhere. I think she's good for a place perhaps this weekend. I don't know what her odds are. I would probably go Dino Blue actually, just because I think yeah, you're talking about three of the top 5 in the market. One of those horses probably will win. Maybe none of them do. If none of them do, then they all get pushed out. But realistically, two of those 5 are going to get pushed out. One's going to go clear favourite, but then Dino Blue hasn't had a chance to follow up. So yeah, I think I'd take that 8 about Dino Blue, waiting for her next run, knowing that probably she'll stay second favourite, I'd say, unless there's unless a couple of the horses of the weekend pull miles clear and look way ahead. You're probably safe on the second favourite, who looked super impressive last time. And then, yeah, you can kind of assess the Solarino after that. That's what I'd probably do.
Fair enough. That said, the horse I actually want to win is Allegoria Devassi. So I want to win is Allegoria Devassi. The horse I have backed is Statuaire, and the horse I'm tipping Brandy Love, and the horse I want to back is Dino Blue. That's my summary for this race. Where's Paul? Come on, Paul. It's incredible. Well, at least the next race that we're going to talk about is one that I've got loads of strong opinions.
Right, this is it. This has got to be one of your favourite races, isn't it? In the entire festival. I know you've always loved the Ryanair Chase. So come on. We've got a good betting market surely with this one.
Can't take very long, can it?
Can you see Allaho beaten?
Yes. Yeah, of course. The Ryanair is not. It's a really hard race anti-post, and it's focus on, and it does, like, I would come across quite negative on it over the course of this because of that. It's just it's too hard to form a market on, because you get some that don't end up being Gold Cup horses. You get some horses that step up in trip, and although a few more horses that look to be brilliant at mid-range, that's still not exciting. And I think we need just years and years yet before that's something that is a factor where something's like, yes, this is from their bumper. I can't imagine anyone ever saying, "Oh, this is a future Ryanair horse." I don't think that will ever happen. Whereas you'll still get future Gold Cup 2 milers and stuff. So whilst I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone is a fan of the race, like I just think it's a little bit far to say that we should be particularly excited by it. It's got a place. The race just not that interesting, really. That said, you get performances, and Allaho's performance last year was up there with, which is one of the best that we've seen under So Winning. There's been some great renewals of the race, so I don't mind the race at all. But this year is really, really, really dull because last year's winner, an impressive winner, has just beat the biggest challenger, and he's beaten him easily again from Ireland with the British Challenge, which is St Calvados, who's already been beaten in the race, and then Shamblu, if you're looking at the market, and should be one of those horses that I think is one of the most overrated the last few seasons. The same. It's the kind of horse that would get me high pitched. It suggested it would win a race. So I do think the Shamblu, yeah. Hopefully you tip it. That'd be amazing.
Why? I'm going to tell you why. Shamblu is the value. No, I'm not. I'm gonna also agree with you. Yeah, no, I agree with him. He's I mean he posted what a 172 RPR last time. He fell when the race was completely blown apart. But I mean that was £16 higher than anything he posted before. I've tried to go in with an open mind about him. But yeah, £16 higher than anything he posted before. He ran 5th in the Marsh last year. Dan Skelton, Harry Skelton was one of his kind of crazy moments, going for home too soon. But yeah, finished 5th. He was 6th in the Ballymore, so you've got kind of two runs at the festival, both without kind of laying a glove, 5th and 6th. His Grade 1 Novice Chase win last year. Obviously, he won at Kempton on Boxing Day, but that looks pretty shoddy now. I mean, he beat the big breakaway, and if the cap fits, I mean, that's nothing to write home about. And actually, the Weatherby race,
just handicappers, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, the Weatherby race. Yes, he was going to beat them out of sight, but that race has thrown up 9 runs since. There's been 1 placed horse and 1 winner coming out of that, and that was Top Vale Ben, and that was a run over hurdles. So it's hard to get too excited about those 9 runs and the form of that race. I can question pretty much every run that he's had, and I don't think he's suddenly got 15 to 20 pounds improvement about him. I mean that's how I'm seeing the race. I see no reason why Allaho isn't going to run to kind of the 170s. So I'm looking for horses that can. Technically, Shamblu on that Weatherby run has the potential to do that, but I don't trust it. So yeah, and for me, he's not a pro. I mean, you can get 12 to 1 about him, but yeah, I've got no interest. He's not got festival form. He's not got course form, and I think you can pick a lot of holes in everything he's done today.
Yeah, you're preaching to a converted with me there, though.
Yeah, I know. It's as if I'm trying to sell you that he's bad. And, So you,
Yeah, I know
so
that.
you don't give any kind of shout to Saint Calvados, one of
I
your
love,
favourite horses.
as you know, now I love St Calvados. Absolutely love him. Yeah, I do. I like if yeah, I like him, but if he's the biggest danger, then instead of backing him at you can get 10-1, I'd just back Allaho to win than back St Calvados each way, just for the effective at 50 odds, and I'm ruling out the win part pretty much. Because if you couldn't know a couple of years ago, he's not beating Allaho now. I think Allaho's better than Underso or anything. Just at this stage of their careers, like I just struggle with that. And if you're backing each way at 10-1 or 50 odds, are you actually getting? Would you rather just not back Allaho at 5-4? I think I'd rather do that, to be honest. So I really like St Calvados, but I don't know. Nichols might try and make him a Gold Cup horse. He was absolutely berating the ride for the in the King George, wasn't he? Going too soon. So, is he a certain runner?
I think he's a certain runner. I mean, I can see it. I can see the angle. I can definitely see. I mean, he's run two King Georges now, and both runs. It's quite clear that he's not a 3 miler. He's travelled through the race as well, and kind of faded, and the last kind of 2 or 3 furlongs. So absolutely, I think this is the race. I've seen quite a lot of talk that he's best fresh, and I think his record over 70 days plus is 5 out of 6. 5 wins out of 6, and that other run was second behind Min. I think the plan is to run at the Ascot Chase next month.
Okay.
So I guess in that sense, you'd probably want him going there without that run. I mean, you're going back 2 years to when he came second in that Ryanair. Min was ahead of him. Aputar was third. I mean, he posted a 171 that day and was rated 167. If he could get back to that, that's the kind of level that he would need to be, I think. But that was when he was 7 years old. He's now 9.
That's the point for me, though. Like he's got to go back 2 years best form, and that might be good enough. Allaho's got to just repeat last year's, and it's. So I'm not. Whilst I like him, why would I be at same figures 9-1 non-run no bet? I love the horse. Like I love Saint Calvin, be a hero for me, but he's not a bet, is he? At 9-1, he'd be in each day if you wanted, really. Or you could back to see what he's up against. He's just not.
You'd probably hopefully get some without markets as well. Because if you go each way when you're looking at kind of 9 or 10-1, well, for me, you're kind of writing off the win bet. So I think you're probably looking about 5-4 for a place, which just isn't worth it.
Yeah, the effective.
So
you'd where back Allaho, wouldn't you? I did.
Yeah.
Someone made a point a while ago, and it was after you see like a performance at Cheltenham, how many times does a horse back it up? And like I've mulled on that for a while. I can't think of any. And that played on my mind a little bit. And then I was just thinking, well, Vittoria JLT, then the Ryanair. But it's just, I don't think Allaho needs to race because there's nothing good in it. There's no Grade 1 horse in this race. I mean, incredibly quickly, non-runner, no bet, Nergamine. If you've got infinite money, you might as well smash that to bits. You can on because he'd only run if Allaho didn't run, and like he's not going to run, is he? But if he did, he's nowhere near to. So if someone gave you 20 grand and you can't do anything with it, get it on that, and just Allaho gets injured. So, but waste of basically tying up your money. Just looking to other than that, like where's the other Grade 1? Like Tornado Fly is not going to run in there. He's going to take his chance in the Gold Cup, and again, he's not a bona fide great role that I do like him. He's not. There's no Grade 1 horse in the race until we get down to my 50-1 tip.
I'm gonna get. I don't actually know this tip. I'm gonna guess it is Melon.
It is Melon. Good work, mate. Go through it.
Go on then. Preach.
Well, this is because I had to. All right, I'll fix it with that. I was forced to come up with a bet that wasn't Allaho. The plan is Allaho scares a few away, so we have a small field race. Mullins is going to run multiple again because this is where a lot of his horses fit. I did have a look up before I realised he was running today, like when I was looking at it. So last year, obviously, you have to start there. He pulled up, couldn't hack it, wasn't good enough. But they came out and said after the race he wasn't right. Then they did run him again and he pulled up again. Apart from those two runs this year, he's bounced back from the poor form. He's been much more. He only finished 5 lengths behind Allaho in the John Durkan. He's run again, another Grade 1. Not another Grade 1, but in the Grade 1 over Christmas, 5 lengths behind Galvin and A Plutard and Kenboy. That's not awful compared to anything else we're talking about in this Ryanair. It's not bad at all. 5 lengths behind Allaho, 5 lengths behind Galvin and A Plutard. That's not bad. He's said he's a Cheltenham horse. I think his Cheltenham. I don't think his Cheltenham form is. I know his Cheltenham form is 2-2-2 and pulled up. Not forget that's 2 champion hurdles as well. His last run, he got an RPR of 167, which previous best, which to me sort of shows he's in as good a form as he's ever. That 167 he got was 2 lengths behind A Plutard, also in the Savills Chase, which again isn't bad form at all. His last run is as good as he's put up. Also, I know a lot of people like Janadil for this. He finished ahead of Janadil last time. He reversed the form on their John Durkin run. Obviously, it's over further, so you could argue that Janadil is better at the short distance, but he's 4 times the price. Now, his non-bet price is horrible at 14-1, which I wouldn't be interested in. Obviously, massive risk because they might chuck him in the Stayers Hurdle. He might run in the Gold Cup. I think at 50-1, which is only with Unibet, sponsored. I think at 50-1, he's just in a race where everything's just crap. So, like, if the main contenders that people sort of fancy each way that I've seen are Janadil and Fakir Dudari, and he's tied him closely enough with both of them, and the prices they are, he's 4 times as big. So I just don't think it's the worst tip of all time. That's what I've got for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with 50-1. I know. Yeah, I didn't know that was your tip. Like I said, I guessed it, but I was kind of hovering over it as well. I mean, I just think he's probably going to go for 3 miles, whether that's the Gold Cup or the Stayers now. I think probably last year, album photo being kind of the Gold Cup 3 in a row target probably played a hand. I mean, 3 of his 5 runs last year were over 3 miles, and when I look back to his runs this season, he finished 3rd in the John Durkin and 4th at Leopardstown. Both times he kind of picked those places at the last, kind of very late in the finish, which just suggested to me he needs every kind of yard. And I think his 2 highest RPRs have been over 3 miles at 167, but there's very little need to pick holes at 50 to 1. And if I'm picking holes at yours, then I should have a better one lined up. I should have a better bet lined up.
I tell you what I will. I tell you what I'll do, double it up and just say I'll do it as a tip 100 to 1 for the Gold Cup. The same points, but he's 100 to 1 for the Gold Cup. So I'll back him for that. Except his best form's over 3 miles. In fact, so he's double the price. He's going to win the Gold Cup. Do you know what's annoying? I actually had to back. Say again.
What price is he in the Stayers? Get 3 races down for him. Or you can get 33s in the Stayers.
What is he any race? You get 66 to no bet in the Gold Cup. I mean, he's not going to win it. It's rubbish tip. But honestly, I would just go. There's only 30. How many horses are in it? 37. I just went through them all, and I can't. Janadil's getting tipped up all over the place, and he has ages, especially on the forum. But he's best price 14 to 1. Like, there's nothing about that getting me excited. And I'm sure I know people have prices and things, but like Fakir Duderie is probably the most logical at 14 to 1 because he's probably following him home again. If you had to have an each way bet and he falls, Fakir Duderie is probably the one to have backed. He's probably a bigger price than he should be, but it's because the horse has gone. There's no win chance. Yeah. It's a 1-horse race. It's the worst race of the week. Why are we talking?
Yeah, I mean,
why have you got me on this podcast?
Because I know you love it so much. Yeah, I mean, Fakir Duderie, he is the obvious kind of second place horse, probably. He was beaten 12 lengths last time, beaten 12 lengths in the Ryanair, but still finished second those times. For me, I guess I'd be a little wary about his jumping. It used to be kind of his strong point in his novice days, but more and more mistakes are creeping in. Obviously, that one at the first on his last race, the John Durkin, he just jumped so poorly. So I think you'd be wary of getting too stuck into him. Do you give any chance to Asterion Forlonge?
Yeah, I suppose. I just don't think he'll run though. So
you think he'll go Gold Cup?
On 8 to 1. Not 8 to 1 now. Does he go off on the day? Just no. Not really. Yeah. 8 to 1 is just. If he was 16 to 1, no bet. I'd probably, because he showed he's got an engine, but he's just not going to. Is he either? No, I don't like him. I don't like him. He'll win it. So he'll win at one point, but 8 to 1 to win the Ryanair would come from absolutely nowhere, and I don't think he compensated for it. Not nowhere. That's unfair, isn't it? Because he had that race at his moon.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
With the John Durkin.
It's 3 out, so it is too early to know. But the general consensus was that he was coming to win.
Race His Mercy's a bit. Yeah, Race His Mercy's a bit a bit fun. But yeah, I don't. Yeah,
on
Yeah,
that
I think
basis.
to be honest,
Yeah, on
sorry,
that
mate.
basis, he's at the back of my mind. Again, the problem is, yeah, you're trying to look at these alternatives to Allaho, and the prices just don't appeal. And I think he's definitely someone that I'm sure someone will offer it. Just get the full insurance on the day. You might only get about 4-1, but he's probably going to be a horse that will tip up or run a huge race, and you might even be able to get some kind of without market and full insurance. I find it
Yeah,
interesting with him. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about he needs to go right-handed, and Patrick Mullins said actually that a lot of his falls have been right-handed. So this kind of perception that he can't go left-handed, but he's a right-handed horse. I mean, he's fallen 4 times, twice at Punchestown, Limerick, Kempton. What I actually think it is, I think going left-handed, they're actually a bit more cautious with him. I mean, Cheltenham. The other thing that's kind of made me lukewarm about him is that Marsh run. Given the field and given Envoy Allen kind of tipped up, he travelled quite well, but he just came third, and it was just a bit of a meh run. Leopardstown before that, he
yeah.
came
If you can't beat
fourth.
Chantry
I
House,
think,
you're not.
yeah. But I do think I think they were very educational rides, and they were rides to try and just get him round. Whereas I think going right-handed, they kind of let him go a bit. So he would be a horse I struggle to see anyone putting it up to Allaho. He would be one of the few in the field. He's only 8 years old, that I think could, if things fell into place. And I mean, you've got to have a lot of things falling into place of it. One, he's got to get round. But I think given the way he was travelling in the John Durkin, if you could, if you could back him on the basis that he finishes, I wouldn't rule it out. But again, going each way, and certainly, I mean, 8-1, non running no bet doesn't appeal to me at all. But I do think,
No, it's
he's
just.
got
I think.
a race in him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of the things that puts me off is if the 8-1 bet. If I thought he'd run because Allaho didn't run, I'd be loads more. He might turn up on the day, and I just wouldn't give him as much chance as I do. I think Allaho, after that last run, Allaho's one of the most solid of the short priced favourites. You had to pick now, he'd be right up there for me. So I haven't really got any reason to want to take him on.
Where
To be fair,
would you rank Allaho? So you've got, well, I'd written this down. Unfortunately,
Honeysuckle would be
Ferny Hollow is
first.
out today. But yeah, you got Honeysuckle, Shishkin, Galloping de Champs, Bob Ollinger, and Allaho. And it's probably quite easy, isn't it, really, to rate them?
The Honeysuckle first by quite a margin. Then Allaho due to lack of opposition. Then Galloping de Champs, because he's brilliant. Close. Then Bob Ollinger just. Then Bob Ollinger just out of respect for Nurgam. No, it wouldn't. No. Then Shishkin, then Bob Ollinger's. No, yeah. Bob Ollinger, then Shishkin. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I think for me, Allaho 5-4. I mean, we touched briefly on that Energumene price, where you had Energumene without Shishkin at 5-4, and I said to you, I was just, that's mad. I'm surprised you can get non-runner no bet odds against with Allaho actually. After the weekend, he's held his form, which actually he doesn't seem to do. But yeah, we've listed 5 horses there. In all likelihood, there's going to be one that doesn't win out of them. You've already seen, Ferny Hollow's gone. But last year,
More
Allen,
probably.
Bautista, Shaq and Bassoir.
I think
so. There's always the short ones that don't win. But
yeah, I mean, I've got Honeysuckle as the first one, but that's only because like if Appreciate It runs, like I'm such a massive fan of Appreciate It that would swing it, because I think she'd have the first actual genuine horse to try and beat for quite a while, and that's what would swing it. I think as good as Galloping's looked, at least there are some credible horses at the moment in the 3 mile race. Bob Olinger hasn't really got anything to beat, but he's the most vulnerable of the lot. I do think that just has to jump around to win it, probably, but only because of lack of opposition. I don't think he's better as a chaser than he was a hurdle, but he won't need to be to win the Turners. He just sets the. He's not as. I don't know. He's just decent, good at jumping, not spectacular. Like he's not. Your horse. Yeah. You love to see a novice chaser improve and be dead quick through the air, and he's just not that to me. So that's why I've sort of nudged him down. I suppose I genuinely think if he does get over every fence, he probably, because he's just the best in it. So yeah, it's. I mean, we'll get close to the time and be sure they never all win, do they? So no. Ready for any of them to to let us down.
Yeah, and I think Honeysuckle, just the fact that it's over hurdles generally, you kind of have to think you've got a better chance of getting around over hurdles.
Yeah. And I think even as much as I appreciate it as well, I thought he was going to be a gold winner. And we're talking about one of the best 2-mile champion hurdlers that we've seen for a while. She'd have beaten most of the horses since Fahey anyway. There's probably not been a better champion hurdler than her. So I'm talking about, don't get me wrong, I love, but he hasn't beaten a horse yet, has he? He's better than Blue Lord, is all we know. Which might be good, but would Honeysuckle beat Blue Lord? Wouldn't even be a contest at the moment, would it? So she's rock solid, but again, that isn't what we're supposed to be talking about. You're hosting this week, mate. Keep me on track.
Well, I am. We're talking about Allaho as being 5-4 value. This is my tip. Allaho.
But then
I'm plucking.
You nearly said then you were enjoying yourself.
The viewers aren't going to be aware of this, but Allaho, he's the one you should back. I can't. I can't really find a bet. So the only other horse probably it's worth talking about. I backed him at 16-1. I think it's still 16-1.
Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fisher.
No. So Emery Allen, the second coming. Firstly, what do you have you backed him? Would you back him? Do you like him?
You know me, Johnny. I'm a one horse a race guy, and I've only backed one horse in this race, and it's the winner, Allaho. So backed Envoy Allen.
You mean Melon?
Melon, yeah. Yeah, I've backed so Envoy Allen. Yeah, I mean, what did do you want to go through all 10 through?
Yeah, so for anyone who's still listening, Paul sent over, obviously can't make it today, but his tip in the race would be Emily Allen. He thinks each way 18-1 with a boost is probably the bet to take. Says Allaho looks rock solid, but Emily Allen is the best value each way alternative. Was tempted to put up Janadil, but given Henry de Brom was in terrible form, you can forgive him the last race and actually last season. And bearing in mind, you kind of want to be prominent in the Ryanair. That's probably where he'll be. And he thinks Henry will get him back to his best. And it actually won't be a walkover for Allaho. So that's Paul's views. Do you agree?
One of them. I don't. I've sent it through last night and I haven't backed it, which probably I don't think it's a bad bet, but I'm just quite happy with Allaho, and I don't, because I don't know Envoy Allen here. I mean, he's not going the Gold Cup. Obviously, he's not in it now. He's not. I suppose he is going to run here. It's just okay. The thing stopping me is I've just got one horse favourite, and I don't fancy anything to beat him, and it's quite a refreshing. Well, Ellen, unfortunately, but it's the smallest bet possible, and he's not going to run. So I don't know. I'm just quite happy with the one, I suppose. Maybe. It is the kind of, I do like Envoy Allen. I think it's just he's nothing since the Marsh to make me excited. Like, he was workmanlike beating Battle Over Doyen, who I know well. Like, he's been like, sort of, was it Charlie tipped him at 40 for the, what did he tip him for? One of the races. And he's just workmanlike against horses I know aren't good enough to be single figures in this race. So I just don't see him beating Allaho, really. It's not better than, I don't know, to be honest, I'd probably back Fakir Dudery at and Envoy Allen at 16s if I wanted some cover in the race. So if I had to back two horses, if I had to back them, I'd back Mellon just on a whim at 50-1, just in case he ran. Fakir Dudery because solid each way, and Envoy Allen because he's got potential, I suppose, to hit where a lot of these horses don't. He's probably the only one in it that could. I'd have him over Janadil, Shamblu, but then St. Calvados is solid, and then by the time of this, I'm just like, well, I'll just back Allaho to win rather than, like, this far in. If you've not already, I don't think you need to back him. I think you can just back Allaho at 5-4.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've backed Envoy Allen. I certainly, I don't actually think I can, but I'm not going to cash him out. I'm happy to have him as a runner. I can't say I'm overly enthusiastic about him.
What have you got him
at? 16s. So I've got the same price he is now. Yeah, there's a chance you could run in the Champion Chase. I think it's Champion Chase or here. I think he'll come here, irrelevant of Allaho being in the same ownership. I think they'll both throw them in. I guess my concern would be, like with all the horses, I think the issue you've got trying to get Allaho beat is he dictates the race. He dictated it last year. He's held his form, so there's no reason to think. I'd be surprised probably if he matches last season, but I mean he's been hitting 174 for this season. I would just worry with Envoy Allen whether he's not the same horse jumping. We mentioned a couple of times on the pod. Just something looks a bit up. I think he'll be able to go the pace, but I just think his jumping might not hold up. Because I just think Allaho's going to go out, repeat what he did last time, what he did at the festival, and yeah, whether Envoy Allen kind of to me still looks a bit of a shadow of what the Gordon Elliott Envoy Allen was.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, that was only a novice chaser, but
yeah, I mean, Battle Over Doyen is 100-1 for this race, non-runner bet. Now, Envoy Allen didn't. You need to be walloping Battle Over Doyen. If Battle Over Doyen, like if Envoy Allen's the bet at 16-1, you just have Battle Over Doyen at 100-1, just in case he follows him home in a workman line. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. Sick of it.
Kev slamming Paul's tip.
I'm tipping Battle Over Doyen's going to win the Ryanair.
With Melon to follow him home, get another second place, get the forecast done.
Yeah. Fuck you, Doodery. What match? Do you want my 1, 2, 3? 3, Melon.
Yeah,
2, Fakir Doodery. 1, Allaho. St. Calvados to 4. Nice. No, St. Calvados would be good because Melon's not going to run. If Melon doesn't run, St. Calvados.
Nice. I'll go Allaho 1, Asterion Forlonge 2, Envoy Allen 3.
You know, Fakir Doodery is place.
Don't iffy jumping lately. To be honest,
fair play.
This is the part where we should wrap it up. Offer some good tips. I've got absolutely nothing for this race other than back the 5-4 non-runner no bet Allaho. It's great value. We don't need to say why. Everyone knows it. Move on. Well,
is he the best bet of the shorties now? Is Allaho 5-4 better than Isuckle 4-6 or Shishkin 4-6 or Galloping to Shot? Wait, what's the best? Is this doing with this? Get everything on Tuesday that you fancy, everything on Wednesday. Put Allen and make it the biggest win of your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so forget the first 16 races of the festival. Just ignore them. And yeah, Ryanair, load up. I would probably say it.
What I'm saying is every horse you fancy in those races, just put them in with Allaho. If you the Boodles, put Allaho in. I mean, make it the most important. He can't be beat.
Yeah, well, we've heard that before. But yeah, the fact you get odds against non-runner no bet. He's miles clear. I think he's probably the best of the shorties right now. Yeah. So
there we go.
I'd make
we're 3/4 at the favourite.
Yep. So we've unravelled the Ryanair for everyone.
I'm not even going to put that this one's about Ryanair. All the other stuff before that was more interesting.
Yeah. Everyone's just going to say,
please. If we covered everything with it. To be fair, the next one will be is the next one Dublin Racing Festival one?
Yeah, so that's a good one actually, and we've got a special guest. We won't say who, but yeah, we've got a special guest planning on next Friday of doing it. So there'll be 4 of us, and yeah, promise it will be more enlightening than this one.
So it will least one person will have prepped as well.
Yeah. Well, should we? I mean, yeah, this has just been general musings, and we haven't really uncovered much of the Ryanair. But should we have a poll of who's the best value of the short prices? List out those. So you've got Allaho, Shishkin, Honeysuckle, Galloping Deschamps, and Bob Ollinger. Who's the best value shorty right now?
Yeah, can do that.
Should we do that? I mean,
Can do
I
that.
don't think many people are going to argue about Allaho for the Ryanair and such.
No, if you want to, what we could do for 15 minutes, take us to 2 hours, and you can tell me why you and your legion of 12% of the forum think John Bomb's going to win the Supreme, if you like. Or I'll save that for another day.
We can chat. We can chat John Bond. I didn't.
No, mate. Absolutely. I need a wee. Do you want? You can talk to the camera if you like.
I think they've had.
No,
I think they've had enough of me waffling on about Allaho.
Deserves its own pod, doesn't it? The Supreme at some point.
Yeah, I'll be ages telling you how John Bond wins the Supreme.
Yeah, I can't wait. Right, wrap us up.
Right. Well, yeah, cheers everyone. If you managed to last this long, we'll have 4 of us on the pod next week. Dublin Racing Festival. So we'll be going through the 2 days there. Should be a good one. And yeah, we'll have a special guest. And yeah, we'll put just a poll up for the best value shorty off the back of this. And yeah, enjoy the racing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Chantry House wins at the weekend, so we can rub that in Kev's face next week. Cool. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Kev.